The night sky is filled with stars, galaxies, and mysteries. Yet hidden among them lie silent giants, black holes. They bend time, swallow light, and challenge everything we know about reality. This is not just a journey into space, but into the very heart of existence itself. Each merger is like a pause before a new melody begins. Even the silence that follows carries rhythm. Even the stillness carries memory. The black hole that remains is no longer what either one began, as it is something entirely new, a continuation, a synthesis. It carries with it the momentum, the spin, the story, and though its form is quiet, its past lives on in the waves it left behind. You may never witness this dance with your eyes, yet the universe is full of it. Even now, above and below, black holes are circling each other, drifting inward, repeating this ancient pattern. And one day, long after you fall asleep tonight, their dance will end, and a new wave will be born. A ripple through space, a whisper in gravity, a reminder that even the darkest objects can move with elegance and grace. And perhaps now you wonder, after the merge, what becomes of the black hole? Does it rest forever in silence? Or does something stranger await at the edge of all we know, drifting there beside the final chapter? Beside the softest question, at the very edge of physics and whatever lies beyond. Time, as we know it, is not the same everywhere. It bends, it stretches, it slows. Near a black hole, this bending becomes extreme. Imagine standing far from one, watching a clock on your wrist. Its tick is steady, constant, reassuring. Now imagine that same clock drifting closer to a black hole. To you, at a distance, the ticks begin to slow, slower, until it seems almost frozen in silence. Yet for the clock itself, for the hand that moves across its face, nothing has changed. Time for it flows. Normally, this is time dilation, a truth so strange that it almost feels like a riddle. To two observers, the same moment is not the same. For the one far away, the universe stretches time into near eternity. For the one close to the black hole, life carries on as usual, unaware that the cosmos itself is bending around them. But how do such objects, such giants, come into being? A black hole is not born quietly. It is the aftermath of collapse, the death of a massive star that can no longer hold its own weight. For millions of years, the star burns, fusing atoms into light, pushing outward against its own gravity. But eventually, fuel runs out. The balance breaks. The star can no longer resist the inward pull. It collapses, folds, and in its final violent breath, it creates something from which not even light can escape. The universe gains a black hole, and when two of these titans meet, when they drift inward through their slow, spiraling dance, the universe shudders. They move closer, orbit tightening, until at last they collide. That collision does not only reshape themselves, it reshapes space itself. The very fabric of reality quivers. These ripples are gravitational waves, faint, ghostly vibrations, that spread outward like the rings in water after a stone is dropped. Except here, the stone is as massive as suns, and the water is spacetime itself. For billions of years, these waves traveled in silence, invisible, unmeasured, beyond our reach, until, in the year 2015, a human-made instrument finally felt their touch. Its name was LIGO, the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. Two enormous arms, 4 kilometers long, each stretching in a different direction, each filled with laser light so steady it could reveal distortions smaller than a proton. For decades, it waited. For decades, it listened, and then the signal arrived. A faint chirp, a tiny trembling, but within it was an entire cosmic story. The death spiral of two black holes, more than 1 billion light-years away. LIGO had not just heard a sound. Humanity had, for the first time, listened to the universe's deepest voice. The universe speaks in whispers. For billions of years, it has been sending out signals, faint, fragile, almost imperceptible, and for billions of years, no one was listening. But then came LIGO. Imagine two arms of steel, each stretching for kilometers, reaching in opposite directions across the Earth. Within them, light itself is trapped, bouncing endlessly between mirrors, so polished that even a speck of dust could ruin the experiment. This light is not ordinary. It is the steadiest, most precise laser beam humanity has ever created, and its task, to measure a trembling so small that it defies imagination. A change in distance, smaller than the width of a proton, the very heart of an atom. This was no ordinary experiment. This was humanity daring to touch the silent ripples of space-time. And on one historic day in 2015, the universe finally answered. What arrived was not thunder, not a roar, but a soft, fleeting sound. Scientists later called it a chirp. But hidden inside that chirp was a story vast beyond measure. It was the final heartbeat of two black holes, spiraling into each other, colliding with such power that the released energy shook the very structure of reality. Think about this. For billions of years, these two black holes had orbited each other in a slow, relentless dance, around and around, drawing closer with every revolution. In their final seconds, they moved faster than I can comprehend, merging at nearly the speed of light. When they finally collided, the amount of energy released was greater than the light from all the stars in the universe combined, yet we did not see it. We felt it as a ripple. Einstein had predicted this more than 100 years earlier. He had written that gravity is not a force that pulls, but rather the bending of space and time itself. If a massive object moves, it distorts the fabric of reality, sending waves across the cosmos. But even Einstein himself doubted that humanity would ever be able to detect such waves. To him, they were too small, too faint, too subtle to be caught. And yet, a century later, with technology built out of both patience and genius, we did. LIGO's detection was more than a scientific achievement. It was poetry written in mathematics. It was humanity pressing its ear against the infinite and, for the very first time, hearing the heartbeat of the cosmos. That faint chirp was not just sound. It was evidence that space is alive, that it moves, that it breathes. And what did this mean? It meant that the universe was no longer silent. We had been staring at the stars for millennia, relying only on light to tell us their stories. But light can be blocked. Light can be hidden. Black holes themselves are invisible, swallowing every photon that comes too close. Gravitational waves, however, cannot be stopped. They pass through everything, untouched, carrying with them the pure truth of what happened. With LIGO, humanity opened a new sense, not sight, not touch, not hearing as we know it, but something deeper. We had gained the ability to feel the tremors of the universe itself. And suddenly, the cosmos was no longer a painting to look at. It became a living symphony. The first detection was only the beginning. Since then, more signals have been captured, more black holes colliding, more stories told through the rippling fabric of space. Each one expands our understanding. Each one reminds us that the universe is not a static void, but a restless sea. Pause and think. Billions of years ago, two black holes collided in a galaxy so distant we cannot even see its light. In that instant, they sent out a shiver that traveled across space, across emptiness, across time itself, until one quiet morning on Earth, it passed through LIGO, a trembling smaller than an atom. And yet, it carried the memory of an event more violent than anything we can imagine. The universe had spoken, and for the first time, we had listened. The discovery of gravitational waves was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of a new chapter in human history, a chapter in which we are no longer silent observers of the universe, but active listeners, able to feel its heartbeat, its whispers, its hidden truths. For thousands of years, we looked at the sky and thought light was everything. The stars glittered, galaxies burned, and supernova exploded in brilliant colors. Telescopes grew larger, sharper, more powerful. We thought we could know the cosmos if only we gathered enough light. But light has its limits. It can be blocked, scattered, absorbed, and hidden. There are regions of the universe so dark that light never escapes them, the cores of galaxies, the depths of black holes, the first moments after the Big Bang. For centuries, those places were sealed to us, forever silent. And then came gravitational waves. They cannot be blocked. They cannot be absorbed. They pass through stars, planets, and even us as if we were shadows. They carry with them stories that no photon could ever deliver. They are, in a sense, the purest messages the universe has ever sent. Imagine it. We now have two senses with which to explore the cosmos: sight through light, and hearing through waves in spacetime. With light, we can see the beauty of galaxies. With gravitational waves, we can hear the violence of their hearts. And what we hear is not chaos, but music. The universe is not silent emptiness. It is a cosmic orchestra, vast beyond measure. Black holes colliding are the drumbeats. Neutron stars spiraling together are the violins. Even the faint echoes from the birth of the universe itself are still, vibrating across space-time like the first note of a symphony that has never ended. What does this mean for us? It means that our place in the cosmos has shifted. We are no longer creatures trapped on a pale blue dot, staring outward in wonder. We are participants in a dialogue with the infinite. The universe sends its signals, and we respond with understanding. We are learning its language. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. When you stand under the night sky and look upward, what you see are stars shining across unimaginable distances. But now, when you close your eyes, you can also imagine the invisible ripples passing through you, waves born from black holes, from stars collapsing, from the very fabric of reality stretching and bending. At this very moment, as you hear these words, the earth itself is trembling with the quiet song of the cosmos. You do not feel it, but it is there. You are inside the music. The discovery of gravitational waves is not only about science, it is about philosophy. It is about existence. It is about meaning. For the first time, we realize that the universe does not only reveal itself to those who look, it also reveals itself to those who listen. And in this listening, something profound awakens within us. It reminds us that we are not separate from the universe. We are part of its story. The same fabric of space-time that ripples with the merging of black holes also holds your body, your mind, your very life. You are not standing in the universe. You are woven into it. When the universe moves, you move with it. This realization is both humbling and liberating. Humbling, because we see how small we are. Creatures who, for most of history, believed the earth was the center of everything, only to find that we are but a whisper in an endless sea. Liberating, because despite our smallness, we can understand. We can reach across billions of light years and grasp truths that even Einstein doubted we could ever prove. Gravitational waves are not just ripples in spacetime. They are evidence that human curiosity has no boundaries. They prove that the human mind, fragile as it is, can tune itself to the deepest frequencies of existence. And perhaps, just perhaps, this is only the beginning. What else lies hidden in the universe's song? What symphonies are still waiting to be heard? Already, scientists dream of detectors so powerful they might hear the faintest echoes of the Big Bang itself, the trembling of reality in its first instant of birth. To listen to that would be to hear creation itself breathing for the first time. We are at the dawn of a new way of knowing, a way in which science and wonder are no longer separate, a way in which every discovery is also a reminder of our own mystery. The universe has been whispering to us since the beginning of time, and now, at last, we have learned how to listen. They do not speak in the way we understand voices, yet their silence is more commanding than any language we have ever created. Black holes do not use words, but they shape entire galaxies into spirals and currents of stars. They do not shout, yet they bend light itself, folding it around their invisible presence. They do not move in haste, yet they stretch the fabric of time, slowing clocks, altering rhythm, changing the very music of the universe. Without a sound, without a gesture, without even a visible form, they alter everything: matter, space, time, and even us. Consider this: the stars we gaze at, the constellations we use as maps, the galaxies that swirl like frozen storms across the sky, all of them are sculpted in part by the hidden gravity of black holes. They sit at the heart of galaxies like invisible architects, shaping the flow of stars the way rivers carve valleys. Without them, the cosmos would not look the same. Even in their silence, even in their stillness, they leave fingerprints across creation. And what about us? Though we live far from the crushing pull of these singularities, we too are shaped by them. The heavy elements in your body, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen you breathe, these came from stars. And many of those stars died in the violent company of black holes. In a strange way, you carry their story within you. The collapse of suns, the gravity of voids, the recycling of cosmic dust. Your very body is stitched from their echoes. You may think you are small compared to them, but you are their descendant. Their continuation. Black holes, in silence, have touched you more intimately than you know. So now, as you breathe quietly, wrapped in the gentle orbit of your own life, it is worth noticing that you too are caught in gravity. Not the crushing gravity of a singularity, but the soft, steady pull of Earth, the planet that holds you, cradles you, and keeps you from drifting away. Right now, as you rest, you are tethered by this invisible thread, not falling but being carried, supported, embraced. You are safe in this orbit. You are still, even while the Earth itself spins beneath you and races through the cosmos at unimaginable speeds. In this stillness, you are part of the same universe that holds the black holes, the galaxies, the waves of gravity rippling outward from their ancient dances. The same fabric that curves around those silent giants also wraps around you, gently, without force, without demand. You are inside the same story, the same rhythm. And here, in this awareness, you are never alone. You've traveled so far already through whispers of the early night sky, through the slow dance of merging black holes, through echoes that ripple across space-time like music too deep for ears. You've drifted through time itself, crossed the threshold of horizons in thought, and come at last to this place, the quiet edge of all we know. And here, at the border where knowledge fades and mystery begins, something rare happens. Peace appears not as an answer, not as a conclusion, but as a gentle letting go. Here, in the vast silence of the universe, you are invited to release. Release the need to solve. Release the need to hold onto light, or gravity, or even time. Let the questions rest, just for now. You are safe. You are still. And the universe, in all its vastness, carries you gently even when you do not notice, even in its silence. And if your eyes are already heavy, if your breath has slowed, if your thoughts are beginning to loosen and drift like dust through starlight, carried softly on invisible currents, that is exactly right. That means you have listened long enough. That means you have wandered far enough. That means your mind is ready now to spiral inward into its own orbit of rest. Before you drift away fully, I will leave you with a soft reminder. If this slow journey through stars and shadows has brought you comfort, if this gentle walk through science and silence has made your thoughts quieter, I would be deeply grateful if you gave this story a gentle sign of your presence, like a small subscription, a note that lets this place of calm reach other wandering minds. And if you wish, tell me where you are listening from and what time the universe holds you in. I love seeing this quiet constellation of listeners unfold across the world, glowing softly like galaxies stitched across a dark sky. Thank you for your curiosity, for your stillness, for your company. Wherever you are, whatever weight you carry tonight, the universe carries you back. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are held so now. Close your eyes. Let the galaxies fade. Let the black holes return to their silence. Let yourself rest, safe inside the infinite. Sleep well, traveler. And I will see you next time in that soft, eternal place, space between stars. As we step further into this journey of black holes, the narrative becomes even stranger, more mysterious, almost dreamlike. Black holes are not merely engines of destruction, not only the silent executioners of stars, they are also laboratories of thought, places where the laws of the cosmos are bent so far that they whisper secrets we cannot yet fully grasp. Think, for a moment, about the very heart of a black hole. The singularity. It is not a place in the ordinary sense. It is not a dot of matter, not a particle hidden away in the dark. Instead, it is a horizon where our knowledge itself collapses. The equations of Einstein, which have guided us faithfully across the universe, falter here. Numbers grow infinite. Concepts blur. Gravity is no longer a force that can be calculated in familiar ways. Space and time, the stage upon which everything happens, cease to exist in the forms we know. What lies at the singularity? We do not know. Perhaps we cannot know. Yet human curiosity does not stop at the edge of the unknowable. It asks questions even when the answers are hidden behind an event horizon. Could black holes be gateways, not just to death, but to transformation? Some theories whisper about wormholes, cosmic tunnels connecting distant regions of space. or even other universes. To us, this is speculation, perhaps science fiction. Yet in the mathematics of general relativity, the possibility lingers like a shadow. Could falling into one black hole mean emerging somewhere else, sometime else? Or would the attempt simply mean annihilation as matter is torn apart, atoms stretched into filaments of energy, lost forever in the fire of infinity? Still, black holes are not silent. Paradoxically, they are among the most radiant objects in the universe. Around their edges, the event horizon glows with fury, surrounded by spiraling disks of matter, accretion disks, where dust and gas fall inward, colliding, heating, igniting. These disks blaze with light that can outshine entire galaxies. Jets of plasma, streaming faster than light could ever travel, burst outward along the poles of these black holes, painting the universe with beams that stretch across thousands of light years. Imagine it, something designed to swallow everything. Also creates some of the brightest fireworks in the cosmos. But the greatest paradox of all came from the mind of Stephen Hawking. Until him, we believed black holes were eternal prisons. Once matter fell in, it was gone forever, locked beyond retrieval. Yet Hawking revealed something almost miraculous. Black holes can slowly evaporate. Through the quantum tremors at the edge of their horizons, they emit a faint glow, what we now call Hawking radiation. This means black holes are not eternal. They are not unbreakable. They, too, will die. Not in explosions, not in bursts of fire, but in whispers over trillions. Upon trillions of years, they shrink, they fade, and eventually they vanish. Even the most monstrous black holes, weighing billions of suns, will one day be reduced to nothing more than a fading sigh in the darkness. And here, once more, the universe speaks to us. Nothing lasts forever. Not stars, not galaxies, not even the black holes that seem to defy all power. Everything has a beginning, and everything has an end. Yet in each ending, new beginnings are born. Stars collapse into black holes. Black holes collide and give birth to gravitational waves. Even the final death of black holes leaves behind questions that might ignite new ideas, new discoveries, perhaps new universes. So when we look at these cosmic abysses, we are not only looking at destruction, we are looking at cycles of birth, death, and transformation. The black hole is not the end of the story. It is one chapter in the vast, eternal book of the cosmos. And maybe, just maybe, when we meditate on these truths, we see a reflection of our own lives. We, too, collapse, break, change, and fade. But within each collapse, there is also the possibility of creation, a new form, a new light, a new meaning. As we move deeper into the mystery of black holes, the path ahead does not grow clearer, it grows stranger. We are not merely studying cosmic objects. We are peering into the very boundaries of reality. Every black hole is like a mirror, showing us not only the secrets of the universe, but also the fragility of our own knowledge. One of the most haunting questions scientists ask is, what happens to information inside a black hole? If you throw a book into a fire, the book is gone, yet, in a sense, the information it contained is not destroyed. The molecules disperse, the smoke carries away patterns, the heat radiates outward. Physics assures us that information, in the most fundamental sense, cannot be lost. But in a black hole, matter and information seem to vanish completely, swallowed beyond recovery. This is the black hole information paradox, one of the deepest puzzles in modern science. For decades, this paradox tormented physicists. If black holes erase information, then the laws of quantum mechanics, the very laws that govern atoms and particles, would collapse. But if information is preserved somehow, how can it escape the grasp of the black hole? Could it be encrypted on the event horizon itself, like a cosmic hologram? Could the universe itself be a vast holographic projection, where every detail of reality is written on the skin of existence? This idea, the holographic principle, has transformed how we think about reality. It suggests that our 3D world, filled with stars, planets, people, and lives, might be only a shadow, a projection of deeper truths inscribed on the edges of the universe. If black holes are the keepers of information, then perhaps they are also teachers, whispering to us about dimensions and realities we cannot yet touch. And then comes the strange possibility that black holes could be seeds of creation. What if, instead of being endings, they are beginnings? Some theories suggest that inside every black hole could lie the birth of a new universe, sealed away, expanding in its own space-time bubble. Imagine it. The universe we live in could itself be the child of a black hole from another cosmos. Our entire existence might be cradled inside the dark heart of something else. But even if these theories remain unproven, the symbolism is profound. A black hole looks like an abyss, a void, an end. Yet it may also be a womb, a place where something unseen is born. This is not unlike our own lives. Often, when something collapses, a dream, a relationship, a path we once believed in, it feels like an ending, a black hole pulling everything into darkness. And yet, in those very collapses, new beginnings often emerge, new worlds are created, new stories unfold. Black holes remind us that endings are not truly final. They are thresholds. They are the silent doors to transformation. And so when we look at the night sky, when we imagine those invisible giants scattered among the stars, perhaps we should not think only of destruction. We should think of mystery. We should think of possibility. We should think of the eternal conversation between light and darkness, between knowledge and ignorance, between life and death. For the universe is not silent. It speaks in paradoxes. It speaks in riddles. And in the dark language of black holes, it tells us this: the greatest unknowns often hold the seeds of the greatest truths. As our journey through the mystery of black holes approaches its conclusion, we must pause and listen, not with the ears, but with the soul. For what black holes truly reveal to us is not only about the cosmos, it is about ourselves. The human mind has always feared the void. We fear the silence after the last heartbeat. We fear the darkness at the edge of existence. We fear that when all is said and done, nothing will remain of us. No memory, no echo, no trace. In this way, the black hole is more than a scientific enigma. It is the symbol of our deepest fear, the fear of being erased. And yet, paradoxically, it is within that same abyss that we may find the most profound hope. Black holes, those devourers of stars, are also the guardians of some of the deepest truths of reality. They remind us that even when everything collapses, something, some essence, some pattern, some mystery remains. Perhaps information is never lost. Perhaps no life is ever meaningless. Perhaps no soul is ever truly erased. Think about the journey of light near a black hole. A beam of light races across the cosmos for billions of years, only to meet the pull of a dark horizon. There it slows, it bends, it stretches, but it does not vanish in vain. Even the light that cannot escape becomes part of a grander story, woven into the fabric of the event horizon itself. In the same way, perhaps every action, every love, every pain in our lives is never wasted. Even if unseen, it is inscribed upon the hidden surface of existence, written into the eternal ledger of the universe. This idea changes how we might live. If reality itself is holographic, if every moment is recorded at the edge of time, then nothing we do is too small. Every smile, every act of kindness, every silent sacrifice, it echoes, it remains. Black holes teach us that the universe forgets nothing. But there is another lesson, one more personal and intimate. Black holes are born from collapse. A star lives its radiant life, burning with brilliance, until its fuel is gone. Then it falls inward, crushed under its own weight, into darkness. Yet from that collapse emerges something so powerful, so mysterious, so eternal, that even the universe itself bends around it. This is the paradox. From death comes immortality, from endings come transformations. And is that not the story of our lives too? How many times have we collapsed inward under the weight of our own failures, our own losses, our own despair? And yet, it is in those collapses that our deepest transformations are born. The black hole inside us, the place where everything seems broken, may also be the place where a new strength, a new wisdom, a new self emerges. The cosmos whispers this truth again and again. What looks like annihilation may be a gateway. What feels like the end may be the beginning of something vast and unseen. So, when we look at the sky and imagine those dark giants hidden among the stars, let us not see only fear. Let us see possibility. Let us see resilience. Let us see the eternal dance of creation and destruction, reminding us that the universe itself survives through cycles of collapse and rebirth. Perhaps, one day, humanity will reach a black hole not as fearful children of the cosmos, but as seekers, ready to step beyond the horizon, ready to face the unknown. Until then, black holes remain as teachers, silent, immense, patient, waiting for us to learn the courage to listen to their lessons. And in their silence, they remind us of this final truth. The darkest places in the universe may hold the brightest keys to understanding who we are. And so, as we reach the final chapter of this journey through the darkness of black holes, we must realize something profound. What we have explored is not only astrophysics, it is a mirror held up to the human spirit. The black hole stands as the most enigmatic frontier of science. Yes, but it is also a metaphor for the deepest layers of our own being. Just as no telescope can peer beyond the event horizon, no consciousness can fully grasp the infinity that lies at the core of existence. Every time we think we understand reality, it bends, curves, and slips away, just like light spiraling toward the abyss. But perhaps that is not a failure of our understanding. Perhaps it is the very nature of reality to remain slightly beyond our reach, to call us ever forward, to whisper that there is always more to discover. Black holes remind us that mystery is not an obstacle. It is the essence of life itself. Think about it. If the universe was simple, if everything were already revealed, would we feel this endless hunger to explore, to ask questions, to reach beyond? No, it is because there are horizons we cannot cross, abysses we cannot yet penetrate, that the human spirit keeps growing. In this way, black holes are not endings, they are invitations. Invitations to humility, invitations to courage, invitations to wonder, and wonder is what makes us human. We are creatures who look at the night sky not merely for survival, but for meaning. The stars do not feed us, the galaxies do not shelter us, and yet we gaze upon them as if they are part of our destiny. And perhaps they are. For if black holes truly shape the architecture of the universe, if they sculpt galaxies and bend the flow of time itself, then, in a very real sense, we are all here because of them. Without black holes, the cosmic web of stars and worlds might not even exist. The darkness gave birth to light. The abyss gave birth to life. And what a paradox that is. The very things we fear, the collapse, the silence, the unknown, are the same forces that have made our existence possible. In this way, black holes carry a sacred lesson. Life itself is born from the tension between light and darkness. But let us not only think of the universe at large. Let us bring this truth home into our own hearts. Each of us carries black holes within the traumas, the losses, the secrets, the parts of ourselves we dare not show. And yet, those hidden depths shape us as much as our brightest joys. To deny them is to deny half of our being. To face them is to discover power beyond measure. Carl Jung once said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Perhaps this is the ultimate psychological resonance of black holes. They force us to acknowledge the darkness, not as an enemy to be destroyed, but as a partner in the eternal dance of creation. Imagine for a moment the last journey of a star. For millions, even billions of years, it burns brightly, giving light, giving warmth, and then, inevitably, it collapses. To the outside eye, it looks like death. But in that collapse, the star becomes something more, something eternal, something that bends the very laws of reality. This is not destruction, this is transformation. And is that not the story of us all? We live, we shine, we love, and then we face collapse, in heartbreak, in loss, in aging, in death. But perhaps collapse is not the end. Perhaps it is the threshold to a form we cannot yet imagine. The black hole teaches us patience with mystery. It teaches us that we are not the masters of existence, but participants in a story far grander than we can see. And it teaches us that, even in the darkest voids, meaning may still exist, hidden, encrypted, waiting. So as we conclude, let us not think of black holes as monsters of destruction. Let us think of them as the universe's way of keeping secrets, of reminding us that not all truths are ready to be unveiled. They are the cosmic keepers of silence, and in their silence, they gift us the most powerful lesson, that sometimes, to understand life, we must embrace the unknown. We must surrender to mystery. We must accept that not everything is meant to be solved. And maybe, just maybe, one day, when humanity has grown wise enough, brave enough, humble enough, we will cross that horizon. Not with fear, but with reverence. Not as conquerors, but as pilgrims. Until then, the black holes will remain silent, guardians at the edge of time, teaching us with their silence what no words could ever express. For in the end, the universe is not only out there among the galaxies and stars, the universe is also within us. And perhaps the greatest black hole is the one inside the human heart, the infinite depth of longing, love, loss, and mystery that makes us who we are. As we leave behind this journey through black holes, we realize that they are not merely cosmic monsters, devouring stars and bending time. They are also mirrors, showing us the fragility of knowledge, the courage of curiosity, and the endless dance between beginnings and endings. The universe, through its black holes, teaches us a paradox, that what appears to be an end may secretly be a beginning, that what looks like silence may carry the deepest music, that what we fear as darkness may be the cradle of new light. And so, when you gaze at the night sky again, remember this: somewhere out there, unseen but ever present, black holes are silently shaping galaxies, bending reality, and writing the hidden chapters of creation. They are not just part of the universe, they are part of us, for we to contain mysteries, voids, and horizons we have yet to cross. And just as the stars dare to shine beside the darkness, so too must we find our light within the unknown. The journey does not end here, it only deepens. Because in the heart of every darkness, the universe is whispering, there is more, always more.